Shalom, Israel. Shalom, shalom. Right, brother Thawam coming at you with these precepts. Salaki. Right, and another cold cut, giving all honor and all glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. Right, Satan trying to take away the word. Right, we're going back into it. Right, what example will you leave? Right, what example will you leave? For the people that come behind you. Right, what example will you leave to the people that may be babies? That may be babes in this truth. Right, desiring that sincere milk. What type of example are you leaving, right, for your family to follow? What type of trail or path are you leaving for people that are seeing you or the people that come after you, right? I started off, I'm kicking right back off. This is the book of Judith, chapter 8 and verse 24. It says, now therefore, O brethren, let us show an example to our brethren, right? We have to be an example to our brethren, right? Because their hearts depend on us. And, you know, whether you know it or not, if you come into this truth, you're wearing your fringes, right? You're growing your beard out, you start keeping these commandments. Like, all right. Had to reposition, right? Satan really trying to take away this word, right? With con. So we're gonna get back into it, right? So in Judith 8 and 24, right? The Lord said that our brethren's heart depend on us, right? I'm gonna pick back up. Right now, therefore, brethren, let us show an example to our brethren, because their hearts depend on us. And the sanctuary and the house and the altar rest upon us. You see that? So our people, whether we understand it, whether we perceive it or not, they rely on us for this truth, right? They rely on us to see how we're supposed to move. And so the way we move will help dictate a way a lot of, the way some of our people may move in the spirit, right? Because if you're moving in an upright manner, then, people that see you, they may see that light. And if there's that, if the Most High is calling them, or if their spirit is wanting to cleave to the Most High, then that spirit is going to hop on them for them to try to, mimic your ways. And then you can, start introducing them to the truth and start showing them the ways of the Most High through the Spirit, right? But what you don't want to do is be like these men. We get this in First Corinthians, right? First Corinthians chapter 10, and I'm gonna start at verse number 5. It says, but with many of them the Most High was not well pleased, for they were overthrown in the wilderness. So this is talking about our forefathers in the wilderness. And these are the examples that we don't want to leave behind, right? It says, now these, Salakia, now these things were our examples, to the intent that we should not lust after evil things, as they also lusted. Neither be ye idolaters, as were some of them, as it is written. The people sat down to eat and to drink and rose up to play, right? So we don't want to set up golden calves. We don't want to set up these different idols and altars to these false gods and start following them, right? Why? Because that's going to lead you to a path of destruction. But these are the examples left behind on things that we ought not to do. Verse number 8, let us, Salakia, neither let us commit fornication, as some of them committed and fell in one day 23,000, right? Neither let us tempt Hamashiach, as some of them also tempted and were destroyed of serpents. You see that? Neither murmur ye, as some of them also murmured and were destroyed of the destroyer. You see that? So these are the ways that we can't follow, right? Going back to or reading First Corinthians chapter 10, so like in First Corinthians chapter 10, starting at verse 5 on down. I'm gonna read verse 11. It says, now all these things happen unto them for examples, and they are written for our admonition, upon whom the ends of the world are to come. So these things were written for us to look upon and not follow in those footsteps, right? Another example left right? It's Second Peter, the second chapter, right? You can also read about some examples in the book of Jude as well, right? Second Peter chapter 2, start at verse 4. It says, "For if the Most High spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment, and spared not the old world, but saved Noah, the eighth person, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly." You see that? So the Most High, He's destroying wicked men. And as wicked as the earth is, hey, there's a lot of wicked people that gotta go. I mean, literally, the Lord is only saving a third of His people, and any other heathen or any other people that don't receive destruction, upon the Lord returning, those heathens are going to be put in the chains. They're going to be put into slavery. So you don't want to be caught up on the left hand, right, of the Most High, which is that destruction. You want to be on the right hand of salvation. You want to be on the right hand where His face shines, right? Verse 6, "And turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an example unto those that after should live ungodly." You see that? So you gotta you can't be a sodomite in this thing, right? You can't follow the ways of Sodom and Gomorrah, because following the ways of Sodom and Gomorrah, that's going to lead you to destruction. How do we know that? Because the Lord destroyed them. That was an example for us to look back on to today. So we look back on these things that we read about. We look back on these accounts and how our forefathers moved. And if they moved in a wicked spirit, that's an example that we ought not to follow, right? But when our forefathers walked in a righteous path, those men, those women, they left examples that we ought to follow, right? So let me get this. Now let me get this in Sirach chapter 30. In Sirach chapter 30, and I'm gonna start at verse number 3. Sirach 30 and 3, it says, "He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice of him." You see that? So us as men in these last days, especially men that have sons, you want to leave an example for them to follow. You want to leave footsteps for them to follow. Um, Somebody posted a clip from the Lion King, and commemorate, speaking to the life of the brother James Earl Jones that passed, right? And Mufasa speaking to Simba, and he was saying how, because Salakia, Simba asked him, well, we're friends, right? We're good, right? And he was like, yeah. And then Simba said, we're going to be together forever. And then Mufasa kind of turned to him and he told him how, the kings look down from the stars. And that was something his father told him. And that's something that you got to carry with you. And so that was an example that he left for his son, so that even if he passes, his son has something that he can remember him by. Because in that movie, Simba watched Mufasa fight off the hyenas, right? It's your son watching you fight off spirits, right? Simba watched his father lead the people. Are you leading your household in righteousness before your child, right? Are you reading before your child? Are you studying before your child? Are you praying with and before your child? So these are the examples that we ought to be leaving behind as men, right? As men, as Israelite men in these last days, right? Because we supposed to be raising up men. You can't raise up a man if you're not showing him how to be a man. And that worldly proverb that people always use, parents a lot of times use it: "Do as I say, not as I do." Well, your child is not going to do that. Your child is going to listen. And I said this the other day. Your child is going to listen to what you do, right? Say that again. Your child is going to listen to what you do. It's not so much of what you say, but what you do. You can tell your child not to smoke cigarettes, but if they're watching you smoke cigarettes, they're going to end up trying cigarettes. You can tell your child not to be freaking off in the club, but if your child see you going to the club every Friday night and every Saturday night, then your child's going to want to do these things. They see what you do, right? And they hear what you do. They listen to what you do more than what you say, right? Because you telling them not to do something, but then you're doing it. That makes you a hypocrite. So We got to be mindful of the things that we do before our children because we're the examples that they have coming up in these last days, right? I'm gonna keep going on that. Sirach 30 and 4. Though his father died, yet he is though, Salakia, yet he is as though he were not dead. For he have left one behind, Salakia, for he have left one behind him that is like himself. While he lived, he saw and rejoiced in him. And when he died, he was not sorrowful. And you don't want to be the you don't want to be the man that's on your deathbed and you look at your son and then you feel sorrowful because you didn't raise your son the right way, or you didn't give him all of the gems that you needed to give him before you gave up the ghost, right? You want to have everything laid out on the table before that time. You want to make sure that you putting forth your best foot to be that best example for your child in these last days, because all hell finna break loose, and you want to have that example set in stone, so that way, as you lead in your household, as you lead in your family, there's complete trust there, right? Because nobody's going to want to follow you if they don't trust you and trust your decisions as leaders. But the only way they're going to trust your decision as a leader is if you leave that example of what a leader ought to be. And that way, if something do happen to you, hey, look, they know to follow in your footsteps. They know to make the decisions that you would make. They know to think and to move the way that you move. Why? Because you left that example. I'm going to get this in Ezekiel, right? Ezekiel chapter 16 and verse 44. Ezekiel 16 and 44, it says, Behold, every one that useth proverbs shall use this proverb against thee, saying, As is the mother, so is her daughter. Right? So the men got to be men. The men got to lead their family in righteousness. How much more the women? Right? All of these wicked examples for women out here in the world. You got your sexy reds. You got your what's that, young MA, right? You got all these dykes, all of these freaks and whores, these women that just want to be, half naked, and they don't want husbands, and they don't want no head. They just want to do what they want to do, right? Hey, as is the mother, so is the daughter. So, what type of example are you leaving for your daughters, right? Are you leaving an example for them to listen to ratchet music all day, right? These simple jakes, they love women that listen to ratchet music all day long. It's spirits that come with that, right? What type of example are you leaving for these little girls, right? Are they going to be rapping lyrics, Salaki? Are they going to be rapping lyrics to Cardi B? Are they going to be rapping lyrics of damn thotting and twerking and freaking off? What type of example are you leaving, right? Are they going to know who Leia is? Are they going to know who Abigail is? Are they going to know who Elizabeth is? Deborah? Are they going to know who these women are? Jael? Are they going to know who these women are? Or are they going to know, are they only going to know these women out here now, right? These celebrity women, right? Following damn Tiffany Haddish. What type of example are you leaving for your daughter? She going to know how to rap a head rap? She going to know how to sew? She going to know how to dress modestly? Is she going to know how to treat a husband and raise children? Because all of these things she ought to learn from you. As is the mother, so is the daughter. And that works on the left and the right hand. You show them the righteous way, they're going to follow it. You show them a wicked path, they're going to follow it. It's not about what you say, it's about what you do, right? So I want to get this real quick, right? Speaking on our Lord, right? The book of John, chapter 13. John, chapter 13. And I'm going to get straight to the point. Verse 13, right? John 13 and 13, he says, Ye call me master and Lord, and ye say, Well, for so I am. If I then, your Lord and Master, have washed your feet, ye also ought to wash on one another's feet. For I have given you an example that ye should do as I have done to you. Verily, verily, I say unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord, neither he that is sent greater than he that sent him. If ye know these things, happy are ye if ye do them. Why did the Lord say that? Yahweh Shah said that because he left that example of humility. He left that example of brotherly love. Yahweh Shah told us time and time again, you love your neighbor as you love yourself, right? He allowed Paul to reiterate it, right? We've been told even from the beginning when we got the law back in Leviticus 19, hey, you love your neighbor. You don't suffer sin upon him, right? You shall in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. Greatly paraphrasing. So he showed us that example of what brotherly love is, right? When you read John the 17th chapter, Yahweh Shah is praying for his disciples. He's praying for the men that truly follow him, right? Yahweh Shah had compassion on the people. He fed them with the fishes and the bread. So that's an example he left behind for us to live with each other, right? To walk with each other with that meek and humble spirit, right? Showing love and preferring one another. So with that being said, we got to follow in the footsteps of Yahweh Shah, right? And that's the true definition of a Christian is somebody who follows Christ, right? We follow Hamashiach Yahweh Shah. So in us following him, we got to do the things that he did. Well, what did he do? He showed brotherly love, right? What did he do? He taught the people, right? What did he do? He didn't fear the scribes and the Sadducees and the Pharisees, right? When he went and he did his father's work. So what are we to do? We ought to follow that same example, right? Yahweh Shai committed no sin. Yeah, we may fall short, but it should be in your spirit to do your best to be perfect, right? It should be in your spirit that if you fall, you get up, you shake that off, you shake that evil spirit off, and you keep trying to be like Yahweh Shai because he left that perfect example for us to follow, right? I'm out of time. But we got righteous forefathers, we got Abraham, right? The Lord said, I'm gonna get this real quick before I close up about Abraham in Genesis 18, Genesis 18 and 19. The Lord says, for I know him, that he will command his children and his household after him, and they shall keep the way of the Lord to do justice and judgment, that the Lord may bring upon Abraham that which he have spoken of him. You see that? That's an example that we can read about our forefather Abraham, right? You got Enoch leaving examples. You got Paul leaving examples, right? You got King David leaving examples. You got all these righteous men to follow that left examples for us. So what type of example will you leave in these last days? What type of man will you be? What type of woman will you be that when people see you, you're leaving an example, a good impression of Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, and this truth because of how you move and because of how you walk? Or they're going to look at you and think this truth is a joke because you out here sneaking pork. They're going to think this truth, or they're going to think the Most High is not real, or the Most High is not the God that he said he is because you're not wearing your fringes every day, right? They're gonna look down on this truth and look down on the Lord because you out here freaking off with all these different women and whores, right? Or you a woman out there and you damn being promiscuous and you all up in all of these different brothers' faces. You jumping camp to camp, got husband after husband. Are they gonna when they look at you? Are they gonna look at you and they're gonna reverence the Lord? When they look at you, are they gonna praise the Most High, or are they gonna look at you and just kind of deem you as somebody that's in the world, right? So, Con. Hey, Lord willing, this was edifying through the spirit, right? Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah Barakatham. Shalom. Shalom.